What if you could go to prison, but not really go to prison? What if you could design your own jail, built to your exact specifications, fill it with luxury items, hire your own guards, and run your multi-billion-dollar business from inside? This isn't a fantasy. This is the story of Pablo Escobar's prison paradise, La Catedral. A self-built luxury detention center where the world's most wanted drug lord lived like a king, entertained celebrities, and continued his cocaine empire, all with the government's permission. Welcome to the strangest prison in history. By 1990, Pablo Escobar was the most wanted man on earth, but he was also one of the richest, and the Colombian government was exhausted. After years of bombing, assassinating, and terrorizing the country, Escobar was ready to make a deal. In exchange for surrendering to authorities, he demanded one thing: no extradition to the United States. He would serve a maximum of 5 years in a Colombian prison, but not just any prison. He would build it himself. The government agreed. On June 19, 1991, the most powerful drug lord in history walked into his own prison. He called it La Catedral, the cathedral. The world called it a joke. La Catedral was not a prison. It was a luxury resort built into the mountains of Envigado, overlooking Medellin. It featured a full-size football pitch, a giant dollhouse, a bar, billiard rooms, a gym, a jacuzzi, and a waterfall. Escobar's room had no bars, no wet cement. Instead, it was decorated like a 5-star hotel suite. A fireplace, a fully stocked fridge, candles, and premium bedding. He had a telescope installed so he could look down at his family's mansion while talking to them on the phone. His guards were chosen by him. They were either corrupt officials bought with cartel money or men loyal only to Escobar. They didn't guard him. They served him. He was regaled with an endless supply of 5-star food, drugs, alcohol, and prostitutes. And the parties, they were legendary. Escobar didn't just live in luxury, he entertained. He once had the entire Colombian national football team over for lunch. After the meal, he joined them for a kickabout on his private pitch, while the guards served drinks like waiters. Beauty queens and celebrities visited regularly. 5 Colombian beauty queens reportedly attended parties at La Catedral. For his birthday, caviar and salmon were flown in. The celebrations were wild, and all the while, Escobar continued running his empire. He made calls, gave orders, and managed his cocaine business, all from inside his prison. But even a king can push his luck too far. Inside La Catedral, Escobar discovered that 2 of his lieutenants, Gerardo Moncada and Fernando Galeano, had been hiding money from him. On July 4, 1992, he invited them to La Catedral. He had them tortured and murdered right there in his prison. The government could no longer ignore it. The deal had been a humiliation from the start. But this was too much. The authorities decided it was time to move Escobar to a real prison. When the chief of prisons and the deputy justice secretary arrived at La Catedral to transfer him, Escobar refused. He wasn't going anywhere, but Escobar wasn't stupid. He had prepared for this moment. During the construction of La Catedral, he had built a secret escape route, a section of wall mortared with weak concrete that could be easily kicked open. On July 22, 1992, with the Colombian National Army surrounding the facility, Escobar simply walked out. He had served just 1 year and 1 month of his 5-year sentence. The king was free again. The escape was a humiliation for the Colombian government. The United States finally felt authorized to participate directly in the manhunt. A 600-man unit, specially trained by American Delta Force operatives, was assembled to hunt him down. It was called the Search Bloc. For 16 months, Escobar evaded capture. During that time, over 600 police agents died in the pursuit. On December 2, 1993, 1 day after his 44th birthday, Escobar was finally cornered on a rooftop in Medellin. He was gunned down. The king was dead. Today, La Catedral no longer exists as a prison paradise. It has been converted into a monastery by Benedictine monks. But the story of how the world's most wanted criminal built his own luxury prison and escaped from it remains one of the most absurd chapters in the history of crime. If you enjoyed this dark dive into history, subscribe. The next story we tell is even darker. See you in the next one.